Welcome to this explainer on the seventh pillar, values, community, and the Chakra network. Over this series, we've talked a ton about operations and AI tools, but today we're capping off this journey by looking at the philosophical capstone of Chakra AI solutions. Let's jump right in.
Okay, to really get this, we have to anchor ourselves to Chakra's core identity. At its heart, Chakra acts as the connective tissue between business health and community flourishing. They aren't trying to be the hero of the story. Instead, they're this incredibly vital link in a compounding network, connecting people and operational capability so that the whole ecosystem just gets stronger over time. Now, there's this massive myth out there about the AI revolution. People think that companies failing to adopt AI simply resisted the technology. But honestly, that's just not true. The businesses struggling the most actually bought into the hype, they bought the new tools, and then suddenly realized they lacked the operational clarity to even use them. They got left behind simply because nobody prepared them for the reality of integrating AI.
Which leads us to a really uncomfortable question at the heart of the AI readiness gap. Who is actually getting the benefit here? When you look closely, you realize it's completely an access problem, not an adoption problem. Technology doesn't just hand itself out evenly, right? The massive benefits of AI are naturally flowing toward organizations that already have the resources to implement it, leaving everyone else totally out in the cold.
Just picture this stark contrast for a second. You've got giant enterprise organizations with dedicated operations teams, armies of process analysts, and entire departments built just to create clarity before they even make a tech decision. Meanwhile, small and mid-sized professional service firms, like, say, a 40-person shop, are expected to navigate this absolute tidal wave of a technological shift with nothing but a capable team and a single lonely browser tab. The foundational support literally just isn't there for them.
So what does Chakra do about that massive gap? Well, they deliberately focus on SMBs, those 10 to 150 employee, founder-led businesses. Why? Because of human leverage. In a massive corporation, fixing an operation might just bump up a quarterly financial report. Big deal, right? But in a 40-person firm, operational clarity relieves a founder's crippling stress. It gives the team their weekends back. It brings real stability to the families relying on that business. It literally changes lives.
Now, talking about being a values-driven company or being on the side of the light is easy, but actually doing it, that requires operational decisions that actually cost money. Choosing SMBs means leaving massive lucrative enterprise contracts on the table. It means looking a client in the eye and telling them a hard truth they might not want to hear. It means democratizing disciplines that giant corporations used to hoard. These choices absolutely cost revenue, but they build unshakable trust.
And here is where it gets really interesting. Dependency versus capability. A lot of consulting models out there are built on managed dependence. They want you hooked so they can keep billing you forever. Chakra's model is the exact opposite. It's built entirely on transferring durable capability so that they eventually become completely unnecessary. They actively design their engagements to end. They build your internal infrastructure, hand over the keys, and gracefully step back.
So, we've talked a ton about business operations, transferring capability, and building systems. But right here, we reach a real hinge point in this explainer. The focus has to expand outward from the business itself. When a company is no longer running on absolute chaos and exhaustion, what happens next? What is all of this actually operating for?
This newfound capability builds outward into what they call the expanding radius. Operational improvements don't just magically stay locked inside office walls. When a business runs smoothly on capable systems, the positive effects radiate. The founder suddenly has time to engage with their town. Employees have the actual energy to participate in local organizations. Stronger businesses naturally, organically, create stronger, healthier neighborhoods.
But let's be real. How a company chooses to support those neighborhoods matters immensely. Most corporate giving is totally optimized for visibility. You know, the classic giant check photo op with a logo on a banner. But real community impact, that requires actual proximity to the gaps. It's the profound difference between sponsoring a community from the outside and actually belonging to it from the inside.
So how do you get that proximity? It's surprisingly simple. You ask. Chakra asks its team members and customers what actually matters in their day-to-day lives. And the answers are never these big, abstract, generic causes. They are incredibly specific, observable needs. We're talking about a local robotics program that suddenly lost its funding, or a transitional employment group that just needs a few bucks for certification fees, or a neighborhood food pantry running out of a garage that desperately needs more space.
And you're going to love this part. The exact same rigorous discipline Chakra uses for business diagnostics is applied directly to their community investment. You identify the real gap,
You define what success looks like, you invest intentionally, and most importantly, you stay involved to see if it actually worked. The business work and the community work, they're driven by the exact same operating principle.
All of these elements weave together to form the Chakra network. This isn't just some client roster. It's a genuinely interconnected ecosystem. Every single engagement teaches something new, and that compounded knowledge means the next client gets to start from a much higher baseline. It ensures lessons are shared, and that nobody, whether you're a business owner or a community leader, has to navigate the future alone.
Think of it like a wheel. It's the perfect mechanical metaphor for this entirely connected work. A wheel only functions because its hub, spokes, and rim are tightly bound together. Every healthy business, every capable team, and every supported community is a crucial part of this wheel. When they're all properly aligned, energy is converted into forward movement, completely eliminating the friction that usually holds people back.
And as we get that wheel turning forward, there's one core guiding philosophy to keep in your back pocket: the wizard is always the client. AI is just the wand. It is such a vital reminder that technology alone doesn't decide our outcomes. The magic, the real capability, and the true power always belong to the human beings, the business owners and their teams, who are wielding those tools.
So looking ahead, what does success actually look like for this network in 5 years? Well, Chakra doesn't measure it by arbitrary headcount or raw revenue scale. They measure it by verifiable evidence. They want to see businesses fundamentally operating differently, totally freed from founder bottlenecks. They want a methodology that embraces its failures to get even sharper. And they want communities that tangibly feel the benefit of having healthier local businesses. Now, if you're listening to this and recognizing these exact gaps in your own operation, the call to action here is simple, direct, and pretty urgent. Stop buying software platforms you aren't ready for. To close the AI readiness gap, your first practical step is to book a clarity diagnostic with Chakra. It's the necessary first move to map your reality and build the operational foundation you actually need before you adopt a single piece of new technology.
I'll leave you with this final thought. The wheel turns, but as we've learned, the wheel is partly of our own making. Responsibility and agency always arrive together. The capabilities you build today are going to ripple right into your team and your local community tomorrow. So the big question is, how will you choose to build capability and impact the world around you? Are you ready to participate in its turning?